Hey all, my name is Paul Borosky and I am the owner of Quality Business Plan. And what I'd like to do today is to give you all some tips and tricks on how to write and prepare a welding and fabrication business plan, as well as how to go ahead and prepare at least for a foundation for your profit and loss section of the business plan for a welding and fabrication company. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to run through this whole PowerPoint presentation I've got concocted for you. The way the structure is I'm going to just give you a little bit of background about myself. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to write your company introductory statement or introductory section for a welding and fabrication business plan, and then touch on some tips and tricks on your financial projection segment. And then from there, it'll be all done. All right. So next to bat is going to be experience. So a little bit about me. I am a professional writer, specifically a business plan writer. So if y'all want to avoid the trials and tribulations and the fun and excitement of writing your own welding and fabrication business plan, just pick up the phone, give me a call, send me a text, send me an email. Be delighted to write one for you. If you need just a little bit of nudge to get you over the hill, you're almost there. You might be hung up a little bit with the writing. You might be hung up a little bit with the numbers. If you just need that little bit of a nudge, check me out on Amazon.com. I do have some books published for both financial projections as well as business plan writing. And also on my website, I do have templates a template you can buy that is geared specifically towards the welding and fabrication industry. And then finally, I am an adjunct professor and subject matter expert in both business and finance. So if you need a little bit of help with the financial projections, again, and your business plan's already taken care of, but you just need the numbers, pick up the phone, give me a call. I'd love to help. All right, infomercial is over. So let's go ahead and dive right into the first tip for your welding and fabrication business plan. When I'm writing my company description section, you do want to include the obvious information, which is going to be your company name, whether it's going to be a limited liability corporation, is a corporation or sole proprietor, a limited liability partnership. You also want to go ahead and include your address as well. So those are some of the main pieces of information you definitely want to get out of the way in the first paragraph. However, you do want to at least touch on one or two differentiating factors. You want to pique their interest, the reader's interest early on, and the way to do it is in the company description section after you introduce your company. Give them some kind of a differentiating factor. What does your company do, or what are you going to be doing that's different than the other welding and fabrication companies out there? Are you going to do on-site welding? Are you going to do just workshop welding? Are you going to do both? What are some niche services? What do you do better than everybody else? Do you do amazing handrails? Do you do some custom fabrications that no one else can do? So just identify one or two of the differentiating factors about your organization and make sure to include that in your first paragraph in your company description. Also, when you're doing your business plan for your welding and fabrication company, make sure to include an industry analysis segment. In that segment, make sure to touch on some of the broad industry happenings in the welding and fabrication industry. For example, a little bit of research, I found that that the welding and fabrication industry right now in the U.S. is at about $14.5 billion industry, and revenues are growing at about 3.8% annually. So those are just a couple of statistics that I would use when writing some kind of a business plan. From that point in time, once you introduce some of those statistics, then you might be able to find out how many competitors are operating in the U.S., what are the average wages. You can use some government websites to get the average wages. And so just build upon that information, show that you know what's happening in your industry. The biggest thing you don't want to do when you're doing your industry analysis is you don't want to start just driving down your competitors in the area, saying how bad they are, or they don't offer these services or that service, or there's a lot of complaints against them. Stay away from that up front. What you want to do is you want to show that you're an expert. So introduce the industry happenings, introduce the statistics that are happening for your industry, and then compare your competitors to the industry happenings and show where there's a gap, where they're not meeting the needs of the industry. And when you do that, you're coming off as a professional. You're also coming off that you're knowledgeable in the industry and that you're able to identify gaps in the industry, and you can exploit those gaps from that point. All right, and then finally, in your company description section, outline some of the products that you're going to be offering. Don't go into in-depth detail that you're going to be offering 50,000 different ways that you're going to be fabricating. You're going to be doing welding, or you're going to be doing fabrications. You want to keep it short, sweet, to the point. Maybe 3 or 4 different services that you're going to offer. And then after those 3 or 4 services, maybe just then list the other services, or even put that into an appendix. You don't want to go too overboard in your products or services. If you do, you're going to have a disproportionate amount of information in your products and services as compared to a lot of the other segments of your business plan, and it's just not going to flow well. So just be cognizant of that. Keep 3. If you offer several services, then just highlight and discuss the top 3 or 4, or even the top 2, and then put the rest in an appendix. All right. The next tip is going to be for your financial projections. Before you start your welding and fabrication company, or before you start to grow it, make sure you have some kind of a just basic profit and loss statement, or profit and loss model, financial model, that you can manipulate and add information, and make sure that you've got some targets for the month and for the year. In this particular example right here, I've broken up my financial model for the welding industry into 3 segments. The first segment is going to be the revenue generating. The second segment is going to be the monthly fixed cost. And then the third segment is going to be the monthly profit. So the way the revenue segment works is I'm going to identify what is the average price per customer. So, take a look at, what would you like your average price per customer to be? Whatever that is, make sure to put it right here. And I estimate that per customer, on average for a welding company, it might be about $1,400, depending on what you're doing, what your specialty is. Next, identify your variable cost. If you have a ticket for $1,400 from a customer, then how much is it going to, on average, is it going to cost you to produce the services that you've been hired to do? For this example, I'm saying that the average variable cost could be about $400. Once you have your variable cost and your price, then all you're going to do is you deduct your variable cost from your price. Is going to give you your gross profit. Once you have your gross profit, you're then going to multiply your gross profit by the number of customers you're going to service in a day. You might have 15 or 16 employees, so you might be able to service more than one customer in a day. Regardless, however many customers you're going to start off with servicing on a daily basis, make sure to put it right here. Then the next step is to multiply the number of customers serviced daily by the gross profit. Is going to give you your total gross profit. Once you've done that, then go ahead and identify how many days you're going to be in operations. A lot of welders, based on my experience, they're only going to be in operations on a daily basis. They're going to be working about 5 days a week. So for simplicity's sake, I'm saying that we're going to have 20 working days in a month. Once we identify the working days in a month, you multiply the working days by the total gross profits, which is going to give you your monthly gross profits. Segment 1 complete. Next thing we need to do is identify the monthly fixed cost. For this example right here, I'm saying that we might have a loan for $1,500. Supplies, general supplies might cost us $1,500. Labor is going to cost us about $4,000. The lease might be $3,500. Utilities $700. Marketing $1,500. Legal, accounting, insurance might run us $150. Probably a little bit more than that. And then miscellaneous, the catch-all, is going to be $1,000. Once you identify all of your fixed costs, add them up and put the total right here at the bottom. So segment 1 is done. Segment 2 is now done. In order to get your monthly profits, all you're going to do is you need a segment 3. In segment 3, you're going to pull down your monthly gross profits and you put it here. You're then going to pull down your monthly fixed costs and you put it here. And then the last step is you're going to deduct your costs from your monthly gross profits, and that's going to give you your net profits, which is $6,150 based on this example. So there's a lot of benefits to having this real basic profit and loss financial model. First and foremost, once you have this model set up, you can now start moving around the price, the average price per customer, the number of customers, even the variable cost. And you can start moving around the price points, and you'll be able to see how those changes are going to impact your net profits at the end of the month. You can also change around your fixed cost. You might want to go ahead and not take out a loan, invest a little bit of equity into your company and remove that. And then you can also, again, see what that's going to do to your net profits. So this is a great tool to identify what your prices might be. It's going to help you identify, or at least take into consideration, your cost. And then if you have a net profit that you have in mind, you might be able to identify how many customers you need to service on a daily basis in order to hit your net profits for the month. So there's a huge amount, there's a lot of benefits to having just this simple, basic financial model at your fingertips. All right. So with that said, in a summary, when you're writing your welding and fabrication business plan, make sure to follow a proven format. If you go to the SBA website, or you just start with a blank screen, just a Word document, white screen, you might be staring at the white screen for a little bit of time. Or if you go to the SBA website and download one of their generic templates, they're going to have a 40-page template here that's going to encompass just about every industry you can possibly think of: restaurants and lawn care and welding and fabrication and manufacturing and chemical combinations, whatever. When you start with some kind of a generalized template like that, you have to now decide what information you need and what information you can go ahead and delete. And it almost going to take you more time to use a generalized template as compared to starting from scratch. So you got to be very careful with that. But what you can do is, if you go to my website, I do have a welding business plan template that is designed for the welding and fabrication industry. It is structured towards that industry. It's a template that you can go ahead and take a look at. It might be able to suit your needs. But at least follow some kind of a proven format. Next is going to be, make sure to keep the star of the show as the business. A lot of business owners, what they do is they tend to get carried away with talking about themselves and saying, I've been in the welding company or welding business for 50 years, and I've been doing this and I've been doing that, and I've designed this and that. And that's all that information is well and good, and it's important. However, in the business plan, the star of the show has to be the business. Make sure you talk about the business and what it's going to do and how it's going to do it, and where it's going to do it, and why it's going to do it, and when it's going to do it, and what the financial projections are going to be, and how much money you think you're going to be able to make. And make sure to keep the star of the show as the business, and you are a supporting cast member, an important supporting cast member as a business owner. So discuss that briefly in the owner and management section, but don't get too carried away, especially in the company description section. Hold off on the management information until that section is up the bat. Next is going to be, and finally, if you all need help writing a business plan for the welding company, writing your financial projections for the welding company, or if you need a template that is geared towards a welding and fabrication company, reach out, give me a call, send me a text, send me an email, be delighted to help. If you need some custom business plan writing, visit my website, qualitybusinessplan.com. If you want to go ahead and just pick up a welding and fabrication business plan template, again, visit my website, qualitybusinessplan.com, welding business plan template. And if you visit that link, what you're going to see is this link right here, quality business plan / welding business plan template. And you'll be able to go ahead and purchase the welding and fabrication business plan template at this website. All right, so hopefully this information was helpful. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up on YouTube. And as always, have a great day. Thank you.